When I crossed over, the story was already nearing its end. I am the vicious female supporting character, set in stone, so I gave up, but after I gave up, everyone around me started acting strangely, frantically clinging to me. The male and female leads' eyes wandered. It's been a while since we last met, and honestly, I've missed you, the aloof and germophobic stepbrother. Go and bring the young lady down for dinner. The stoic father's fingers flew across the screen. Call me, Dad, in a voice message, and I'll give you money to spend. The wicked stepmother, tears in her eyes. She actually cares so much about my struggles. After I divorce her father, I want to follow her. Me, politely asking, are you all crazy? Noon, the sun is scorching. A perfect couple was intimately linked arm in arm, their expressions filled with happiness. People around them offered well-wishing blessings one after another. Looking around, the atmosphere throughout the venue was warm and lively, except for me. Amid the applause, the person to my right spoke in a cold voice. The two of them are already engaged, so you'd better give up those malicious thoughts. The person on my left smiled charmingly and said, if you cause any more trouble, I'll break your legs and lock you up. The Taylor family can't afford such a disgrace. I sneered. All right. Just because I'm not losing my temper, you think I have no temper, right? It's rare to experience a time travel, and others always get roles as the female lead, and female lead again, but when it comes to me, I'm just a cannon fodder, still a notorious, thoroughly wicked cannon fodder. The plot has now reached its final chapter. The male and female leads have overcome my layers of obstruction as a cannon fodder, finally got engaged, and are sweetly together, and as for me, the cannon fodder, I am about to be subjected to various forms of torture by the male lead, who, after marrying his beloved, has entered a mode of settling scores. Pitiful me, though I am the only daughter of the Taylor family. My biological mother died many years ago, and my father remarried early. My father remarried a woman who brought along a stepchild with no blood relation to me, and they lived together in perfect harmony, treating each other with the utmost respect. Moreover, that stepbrother of mine is quite accomplished. Without relying on the Taylor family's connections, he started his own company while still in college. After several years of development, his business is now thriving and gaining momentum. That concludes the introduction to the family background. As for the story plot, there's no way to justify what I did before. The male lead's revenge is inevitable sooner or later. Although the Taylor family holds a respectable status, Mr. Taylor is obsessed with immersive money-making and constantly drifts around abroad. The household is entirely managed by his capable wife, my stepmother, with whom I don't get along at all. I should be grateful if my stepmother doesn't try to trick me a couple of times. My stepbrother greatly admires the capable female protagonist, and by opposing the female protagonist, I've become the target of everyone's criticism. All right, so this is how you're going to play with me. I don't care about this lousy plot anymore. I'm done with it. Since I'm already stuck in this mess, I might as well just lie down and let it all go to hell. Since everyone is pointing fingers at me, I'll just go crazy and take everyone down with me, I said coldly. They're already engaged. What else can I do? Publicly snatch her away in front of everyone? My stepbrother didn't even spare me a glance. You know very well what you did before. Stay put during this engagement banquet. My stepmother was more sensitive. Wait a minute, why are you talking about kidnapping a commoner woman? I gave her a mysterious smile. Would I admit that I misspoke because I've been watching too many TV dramas? The engagement banquet came to a perfect close. The male and female leads, however, seemed a bit uncomfortable. The male lead, Jasper, walked over gracefully with the female lead, Rose, and started chatting with his stepbrother and stepmother. I sat in my chair, expressionlessly eating the tea snacks. How long the engagement banquet lasted, that's how long I was subjected to the sarcastic remarks from the two henchmen on my left and right. I was already frustrated enough. Now, not only am I filled with pent-up anger, but I haven't even been offered a sip of tea. Damn it, what a lousy status. The quieter I became, the more frightened Jasper and Rose grew. The two exchanged a glance, and Jasper couldn't help but say, "Bro, Georgia, she." Kevin remained composed and confident, exuding an air of being in complete control. Don't worry, I just didn't know before. Now that I'm back, I won't give her another chance to cause trouble for you. His tone lifted slightly, deliberately letting me hear those words. It was like the final straw that broke the camel's back. The last bit of the bomb's fuse was lit. I slammed the table. I was really angry. Fine, fine, fine. In your eyes, nothing I say matters anymore anyway, since I'm so vicious. Just leave me alone from now on. I'll lock myself up when I get back and never come out to cause you trouble again. But what others say about me doesn't matter, Rose. I pointed at the female lead, my eyes red. Have you really forgotten who it was that made me like this? As I finished speaking, the tears I had been holding back for so long finally fell. 2 perfect drops, crying so pitifully that anyone would feel sorry for me. What is the highest level of verbal sparring? Don't give the other party a chance to perform. After saying all this, I covered my face and turned to run. The few people behind were stunned and motionless. The female lead, who was suddenly called out, reacted for a moment before turning to look at the male lead, her face showing rare hesitation and confusion. What did she mean by what she just said? The male lead, Jasper, grew up with me and knows my temper very well. He said with certainty, she must have said it just to annoy us, Rose. Don't take it to heart, my stepbrother snorted coldly, saying she'll lock herself away. If she really had that kind of awareness, my father should be thanking his lucky stars. My stepmother always has a unique focus. Why did she point at Rose when she said that last sentence? Did something happen between you two before? Rose frowned. How could that be? I didn't even know her before. My stepmother pressed on. She also mentioned abducting a common woman when you two got engaged. Abducting a common woman, who snatched her commoner woman, whose commoner woman does she want to snatch now? The stepmother looked at the perfect couple before her, then glanced in the direction I had left. After a long pause, she covered her lips with her fingers, forcing back the words that were about to escape. Oh my God, did David's daughter turn out badly because of his own upbringing? I rushed back to the Taylor family's old house. The Taylor family has been passed down for 3 generations. It almost went under during my grandfather's generation, and it wasn't until my father's generation that it grew big and strong again. Although it's called the old house, it's actually a huge, massive mansion built on the mountainside, on land purchased during my great-grandfather's generation. My stepmother and Kevin usually prefer living in the villa in the city, however. The housekeeper who watched me grow up is still at the old house. I ran back to the old house in tears, found my room, went inside, and threw out my phone, computer, tablet, and everything else that could be used to contact me. Get rid of all these things. I don't want to see them anymore. With a tearful voice, I locked the door and then, with great effort, moved the table and small sofa to block it. I drew the curtains, plunging the entire room into darkness. The old Taylor family house was built on a grand scale. My bedroom alone included a living area, study, walk-in closet, and more, all with excellent soundproofing. I lay down on the bed after removing my makeup and immediately fell into a deep sleep. Before I crossed over, I had stayed up for 3 consecutive nights trying to beat the game. I even started to wonder if I had died from exhaustion, and that's how I ended up here. I slept so soundly that I lost track of time. When I opened my eyes and looked around the room, it was still dark outside, so I went back to sleep. Woke up again. It's still dark. Go back to sleep. Opened my eyes again. Damn, this night is really long. I'm so hungry from sleeping. Why is it still dark? I turned over and noticed the silk bedding beneath me. Fuck, forgot. Already time traveled. Pulled open the curtains to look. It's still dark outside. I turned on the light and searched the whole house for food. In the reception room, there was a row of hidden cabinets, and when opened, they were filled with snacks. The study didn't contain classic literature, but rather novels and comics. There were even 2 top-of-the-line gaming consoles, with all the popular games available on the market. TSK. Although Georgia has a love-stricken mind, it must be said that she truly has good taste, with no worries about food and drink, and so much spiritual nourishment. I stayed inside, almost forgetting the passage of time, just a door away. The usually quiet old mansion was now filled with people. The silver-haired old butler was so anxious that tears were about to well up in his eyes. Young master, please think of a solution quickly. The young lady hasn't come out for 10 days, Kevin said with a stern face. Since she said not to bother her, why should we care? What the young lady said was out of anger. The old butler had watched Georgia grow up and genuinely cared for her. Young master. Even if the young lady is upset with you, you should still give in to her a little. She lost her parents at a young age, and only the young master of the Duncan family was willing to play with her. Young people are emotional, so it's inevitable that they might stray from the right path. Please talk to her properly. The young lady is not an unreasonable person. She has locked herself in her room for 10 days now. How can someone go without eating or drinking for so long? The stepmother reminded them, if I remember correctly, the snacks in Georgia's room were just restocked half a month ago. How can someone survive on snacks alone? Snacks are nowhere near as nutritious as proper meals. The butler wiped his eyes. I've watched the young lady grow up since she was a child. She never liked snacks, and now that she's been wronged, she must not have eaten for days. The old butler is of mixed Chinese and French descent. He grew up in France and later followed my biological mother here. He is deeply sentimental by nature and tends to overthink things. Now, the more he thought about me being in that pitch-black room, the more pitiful he felt. He glanced at the two people standing there unmoved, gritted his teeth. All right, none of you care about the young lady, but I do. I'm going to call David right now. When his wife passed away, he promised to take good care of the young lady. Is this how he's keeping his word? At the mention of David, the stepmother and stepbrother's expressions changed. David is out earning money, and I've upset his daughter so much that she's locked herself in her room and refuses to eat. Is this even acceptable? Call someone over to break down the door and invite the young lady to come down for dinner. The butler shed tears of sorrow, occasionally glancing at Kevin. The young lady simply won't listen to any of us. It takes the one who tied the bell to untie it. The stepbrother raised his eyes, somewhat gritting his teeth. I'll go call her myself. The old butler was finally satisfied. James, quickly prepare some dishes that the young lady likes. Leo, quickly bring out that set of gilded antique tableware that the young lady likes. Lee, pick the most beautiful roses from the garden and arrange them. The young lady rarely comes back for a meal, so everything must be perfect. The stepmother sat on the living room sofa with a cold expression. That's why she hated the old house the most, and by extension, she didn't like Georgia either. She had been married into the family for 20 years and had never received such treatment. Never. The dimly lit room, the massive monitor emitted a faint, cold glow. I sat there, my face pale. I had been playing this horror game for 5.5 days and finally cleared it. Damn, it's clearly a horror game. So why is the ending so touching? Woo 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 woo. Watching the male lead tightly embrace the already cold female lead, I cried uncontrollably. Just because a man left, you're willing to degrade yourself like this. How pathetic. The sudden voice was full of disdain. I paused mid-nose blowing as the faint light from the doorway cast over Kevin, who stood there in a sharp suit, one hand in his pocket, his gaze lowered, very handsome. A perfect domineering CEO persona, but unfortunately, he has a mouth. I sobbed and asked, how did you get in? The bedroom door opens inward, and I had piled so many things against it. It shouldn't have been possible to open. Kevin tilted his head slightly, and I peeked out from the game room. The bedroom door was wide open, or perhaps there is no bedroom door anymore. The door was completely removed by the construction crew, and the remaining workers were dismantling the door frame. The things I had placed there as a barrier were naturally all cleared away. Damn rich people, I wiped my face. What are you here for? Kevin's attitude turned even colder. Come down for dinner. I'm not eating. I was so upset that I had no appetite at all. Kevin frowned. Stop fooling around. I was very surprised. Fooling around. I'm being serious. Didn't I say I won't go out anymore? This room is my prison cell. And I'd rather die than leave. Kevin stared at me intently, and I looked back at him with reddened eyes, not shying away. In the midst of our standoff, Kevin said calmly, since you say so, then as you wish. He ordered, someone, remove all the games, comics, novels, and snacks from the young lady's room. My eyes widened in shock. What are you doing? If you're reflecting on your mistakes behind closed doors, you should do it properly. Anyway, you don't usually look at these things. So removing them won't make any difference. The person following Kevin was about to take action. Wait a moment. I quickly stopped them. I've thought it over carefully, and actually, as long as the intention is there, anywhere can be a detention room. All right, big brother, you should head down now. I'll wash my face and be right there. I haven't eaten in so many days. I'm so hungry. A light chuckle came from behind. I turned my head to look. And Kevin was still standing there with an expressionless face. Seeing me turn around, he slightly lifted his eyelids, his aloofness practically spilling through the screen. Is there something else? No, how could I have thought that Kevin, with his icy expression, would smile? Am I playing games so much that my brain can't tell the difference between illusion and reality? Seeing me come downstairs, the old butler was so excited he could have set off fireworks to celebrate. Wah wah. Miss Georgia, you've finally come down. I had all the dishes prepared with your favorites in mind. This old butler is probably the one who cares about me the most here. My expression softened slightly. I've made you worry during this time. The old butler stared at me blankly for a moment, then turned away, using his sleeve to cover his eyes as tears streamed down both sides of his face. The young lady actually knows how to care about others now. She must have suffered greatly recently. That old fool David, I must call and give him a good scolding. I was speechless. Wow, it's like crying while reading a comic. The dining table was already set with a long spread of dishes, ignoring the extravagantly arranged candles and floral arrangements. I took a seat on the chair. My stepmother sat across from me, her expression very cold. You're such a child. How old are you, still playing the hunger strike game? Don't ever do this again. Got it, I muttered under my breath. All the meat dishes and seafood on the table were on my side, while my stepmother and Kevin only had vegetarian dishes. I noticed a half-eaten piece of fried young chicken on my stepmother's plate, so I simply took the whole plate over and openly swapped it for the vegetarian diced lotus root I wanted to eat. The stepmother paused her movements, her mind racing. Has this child suddenly changed her nature? She actually gave her the dish she likes the most. Wait. How does this child know she also likes this dish? The stepmother looked at the half-piece of young chicken on her plate, her lips pressed together with mixed emotions. After a long pause, she softened her tone. Since you already realize your mistake, live well from now on. I'll have your brother give you an extra allowance every month. Go out and see more of the world, and you won't be so fixated on just one man. I tightened my grip on the fork, trying to keep my voice as calm as possible. How much is the amount? My stepmother said. You currently receive a monthly fund dividend of 500,000. I'll have your brother add another 500,000 to that, and the money will come from my account, a full 1 million. I can't even imagine how cheerful and outgoing I'd be if I got that much money every month. What kind of wicked stepmother is this? She's clearly my fairy godmother. She's really something. I'm moved to tears. All my previous phones and tablets are gone. Kevin acted quickly. Right after the meal, the latest set of electronic devices was delivered, along with a bank card. Kevin said, as long as you don't cause any more trouble and stay away from Jasper and the others, you can spend the money in the card however you like. He is still that cold and aloof person, but in my eyes, he now automatically shines with a holy light. I assured him, brother, don't worry. I've turned over a new leaf and started afresh. There's one thing my stepmother said that I completely agree with. Go out and see more of the world, and you won't be fixated on just one man. Now, with 1 million in hand, that's 1 million, from cute puppies to fierce wolves, and aloof beauties with broad shoulders. What kind of man could I possibly not have? Then I went to the largest bar. However, after a few drinks, the door was kicked open. I was forcibly taken back to Kevin's apartment. Kevin bought an apartment in the city for the convenience of commuting to work and usually lives there. I was taken over, and he was still in the study reviewing documents, dressed in casual home clothes and wearing frameless glasses, with his hair falling loosely. He looked several years younger. At a glance, he actually gave off quite a husbandly vibe. I've seen quite a few handsome guys, but compared to Kevin, they all fall short. But thinking about the handsome guys I haven't had my fill of at the bar, I get really annoyed. Kevin, what do you mean? Didn't you say I could do whatever I wanted as long as I didn't cause trouble? Did I go after Jasper, or did I go after Rose? I just wanted to buy a little drink at the store and have a sip. What gives you the right to have someone drag me back? I slammed his table loudly. If you don't give me an explanation today, what will you do? Kevin looked up. His gaze cold and sharp. So you're not thinking about Jasper anymore, and instead checking out other handsome guys at the bar. Georgia, you're quite something. What's wrong with me looking at handsome guys? What do you, a cold-hearted person? No, those handsome guys at the bar aren't there by choice. if it weren't for their family circumstances forcing them. They said they'd rather wash dishes outside than come to a place like this. Do you think they're just flaunting their worldly charms? They're once-in-a-century extraordinary men. They said only I can understand them. Kevin raised his hand to rub his forehead. You're not allowed to go there anymore. If you do, your monthly allowance will be reduced to 100,000. My endless stream of complaints came to an abrupt halt. Saving misguided men is important, but my precious money is even more important. I timidly asked, if I don't hire any escorts, can I still go to the bar? Kevin emphasized, only quiet bars are allowed. Also, don't let this happen again. I nodded repeatedly. Don't worry, sir, I always know my limits. The next evening, the same study, the same people reunited once again. Kevin took off his glasses, looking somewhat helpless. You're usually so measured. Tell me, what happened this time? I insisted it was a misunderstanding. Someone nearby spoke up for me. Miss Taylor ordered 10 hostesses at the bar and bought premium drinks under each of their names. Those hostesses started fighting over Miss Taylor's favor and nearly ended up hurting her by mistake. He is the bodyguard arranged by Kevin to secretly protect my safety. Seeing this situation, he brought Kevin over again. The name of that bar, Night Banquet. It's a quiet bar. Got it. You can leave now. Kevin's expression was indifferent. The bodyguard turned and left, and I quickly followed. Then I heard a voice behind me, cold as shattered ice. You stay. In the study, only Kevin and I remained. After a long silence, I couldn't stand the atmosphere and spoke first. Since you have nothing to say, I'll leave first. Georgia. His tone was calm, and my heart tightened. I really can't understand what you want to do now. Huh? What do I want to do? I want to use a stable mental state to drive everyone crazy. Seeing that Kevin's mental state is also on the verge of collapse, I've gone completely insane. I stay indoors, and you force me to go out. I got the money, so how I spend it is my freedom, right? Did I visit prostitutes? Did I do drugs? Did I gamble? I didn't do anything, just had a few drinks. I didn't even touch anyone's hand, and now I'm being brought here to be repeatedly warned and strictly forbidden, when you all go out for business entertainment. Are you so clean and innocent that you've never done anything? At my age and with my family background, even if I'm not in a relationship, what's wrong with keeping someone around to make me happy? Kevin said calmly, even if we need to support someone, we should find someone with a clean and clear background. I retorted, shouldn't it be someone who is healthy and well developed in all aspects? Kevin's tone suddenly dropped sharply. Watch your words. I looked at Kevin, who remained motionless in his chair, and suddenly laughed. He moved closer, grabbing the tie to pull the two of them together, their breaths intertwining. Brother Kevin, I called out softly, since you're so worried about me, and we're not related by blood anyway, why don't you just make a little sacrifice? Kevin's pupils suddenly contracted. Kevin roughly pulled my hand away. Get out, paywall. I leisurely walked out, closed the door, and left. I felt refreshed after annoying Kevin today. He probably won't bother me for a while now. However, I cannot save misguided young men, nor can I save misguided young women. What is the point of me living? I locked myself in my room playing games for a month, then threw myself into bars for half a month of indulgence, yet I still couldn't figure it out. But the male and female leads couldn't sit still anymore. The male lead, wanting to save face, sent Kevin a roundabout message. Do you know what Georgia has been up to lately? Kevin scoffed coldly, busy freeloading, using his card to freeload. Very good. The male lead was shocked. Aren't you going to do something about this? The male lead was still taking a roundabout approach, but the female lead wasn't holding back at all. I was quite surprised when I heard the visitor's name, Rose. What is she doing here? The old butler looked at me kindly and said, she mentioned it's been a long time since she last saw you and came to visit. You've been staying indoors for so long, why not go out and get some fresh air? It really has been a while since I last went out. Rose was waiting for me in the living room on the first floor. When she saw me coming down, her expression was complicated. When I stood in the way of the two of them, she hated me to the bone, but when I stopped getting in their way, she felt strangely empty instead. At first, she even thought she was a masochist, uncomfortable when things were going too well, but later, she realized that Jasper seemed to feel the same way. Without me causing trouble in between, the relationship between the two of them remained as calm as water, devoid of any passion. This can't go on. Did you need something? I have something to tell you. I know a cafe with great coffee. I waved my hand. Just say it here, or we can go to the courtyard. It'll only take a couple of sentences. No need to go through all that trouble. This is Kevin's territory. So Rose couldn't bring herself to say it. She said, my friend just opened a new beauty salon with the latest technology imported from Korea. They don't do medical aesthetics, but they offer spa services like hot spring baths and more. My eyes lit up, and I turned my head. Grandpa John, arrange a driver for me. I want to go out shopping. Our young lady is finally willing to go out for a walk. The old butler instantly looked at Rose with a very gentle expression. My relationship with Rose hasn't improved enough for us to ride in the same car. 2 cars left one after the other. After arriving, I soaked in the hot spring and lazily said, what's this all about, anyway? Rose bit her lip and said, I want to ask you to continue hindering Jasper and me from being together. I'm shocked. Do you have Stockholm Syndrome? Just assume I do, and I won't let your efforts go unrewarded. How about 300,000 a month? I curled my lips. You know, right? To keep me from causing trouble for you, my big brother gave me 500,000 a month as a peacekeeping fee. Rose is the type of ambitious, strong female lead who built her career from scratch. Although her career is now gaining momentum, she still isn't particularly generous with her spending. She hesitated for a long time and said, 800,000 a month, until we get married. She wanted to ensure that there would be no issues with their wedding. It just so happens that I've been feeling quite bored lately. All right. How exactly do we do this? Just go ahead and do your thing, as long as you make him feel that I'm better than you, and make him cherish the current situation. I caught the underlying meaning and clicked my tongue lightly. Men change their hearts so quickly. It hasn't been long since the engagement, and already he's ready to trade the old for the new. Even someone as strong as Rose felt wronged at this moment. You're telling me, he's been noticeably much colder towards me lately. What you can't have is always the best. Most men like to pull this kind of trick. I waved my hand grandly and made a firm promise. All right, I'll take care of this matter. Rose asked me to help with other things, and it might end up being for nothing, but paying me to cause trouble. How is that any different from paying me to get a free VIP seat up close to watch the show? No difference at all. Rose is a woman of action. Once we settled the matter, she transferred a month's payment on the spot. As the saying goes, the construction speed of the contractor depends on the payment progress of the client. As long as the payment is sufficient enough, even an excavator can be worn out. Early the next morning, I went to Jasper Company with a large bouquet of red roses. Of course, the receptionist didn't let me in. I had caused such a scene before that it became known to everyone. Jasper almost put up a "No Georgia and Dogs Allowed" sign at the company entrance, but I didn't come here today just to see Jasper. Taking off my sunglasses, I said with great flair, give Mr. Duncan a message for me. Tell him to look up at 8 tonight. With that, I walked away gracefully. The receptionist looked at the large bouquet of roses on the counter, immediately took a photo, and excitedly posted it in the gossip group. Big news, Miss Taylor has come looking for him again. She told the CEO to look up at 8 tonight. I knew Miss Taylor wouldn't give up easily. Her disappearance all this time was just her preparing for a big move. I have a feeling this matter won't end like this. Oh, really? The onlooker's casual remark left the receptionist quite displeased. She switched her keyboard to the 26-key layout, her fingers flying across it as she prepared to unleash a lengthy tirade to condemn the other person's indifferent attitude. Just before sending the result, the last shred of reason made her look up. Above that message, the 2 short nicknames seemed just like her brief career. Mr. Duncan. Click. Was that the sound of a phone falling? No, it was the sound of the soul of the front desk gossip completely shattering. With her last ounce of strength, she privately messaged the group owner of the gossip chat, each word dripping with blood and tears. Why did you have to drag Mr. Duncan into this? The group owner, always on the front lines of gossip, replied quickly, is it possible that you sent the message to the company group chat? Everyone in the company group saw those messages, but due to Jasper's intimidating presence, they could only gossip about it privately and discreetly. Those in the meeting room were even more cautious, keeping their eyes down and pretending they hadn't seen anything. It's obvious that Mr. Duncan dislikes Miss Taylor, and now with this incident, the meeting is likely to be quite tense. Thinking of this, someone quietly glanced up. Oh my, the CEO was so angry he laughed. After seeing those messages, Jasper felt a lightness in his mood that even he hadn't noticed. He had been wondering why this person had suddenly gone quiet for so long. It turned out they just couldn't accept the fact that he was engaged. At 8 p.m., night had fallen. Those who were constantly watching the sky exclaimed in surprise, "Look, there's something glowing in the sky." Jasper stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, looking up at the glowing drones in the sky. The drones seemed to be forming a pattern, and Jasper felt a sense of anticipation. The pattern formed by the drones slowly took shape. A delicate, slender hand gracefully extended downward, and a drone-composed diamond ring slowly slipped onto it. Beside the scene, there were also huge English letters, "Marry Me." Jasper's smile abruptly froze. The receptionist, driven by the professional spirit of finishing the gossip even if it meant resigning, was also watching by the window and naturally didn't miss this spectacular moment. This time, she confirmed the name of the gossip group chat before continuing to chatter incessantly. "Did you see that? Marry me. I bet a month's salary that this must have been arranged by Miss Taylor." She's hinting to Mr. Duncan in this way, telling him to propose to Miss Taylor. But wait, isn't Mr. Duncan already engaged to Miss Rose? Why is Miss Taylor posting this? She suddenly thought of a possibility, her expression becoming agitated. Could it be, finally, someone in the gossip group interacted with her? Could it be what? Could it be that this is Miss Taylor's way of putting Mr. Duncan in his place? Miss Taylor has actually been pestering Miss Rose all this time. She's in love with Miss Rose but can't have her, which is why she keeps causing trouble for Mr. Duncan. However, Miss Rose is already engaged, and Miss Taylor doesn't want to ruin her image in front of Miss Rose, so she can only provoke Mr. Duncan, the front desk staff. After years of battling in the melon fields, finally went crazy. She firmly believed in the toxic ship she was shipping, and to prove her point was correct, she stayed up all night making a PowerPoint presentation and sent it in the group chat to brainwash the other members. But today, the gossip group seemed unusually quiet. The receptionist was dissatisfied and went to question the group chat admin again. "How come you're so incompetent today? You didn't even react to such a big piece of gossip." The admin timidly replied, "After you sent the wrong message today, Mr. Duncan forced me to add him to the group." The receptionist froze. Which group? Melon-eating group. The receptionist's heart skipped a beat. The group admin delivered the final blow. "That's the only one in the group who replies to your messages." Could it be that today's experiences were all just my imagination? I dozed off during work hours, and it was all just a dream I had. When she wakes up, she finds herself still sitting at the company's front desk, and Ms. Taylor hasn't arrived yet. Or perhaps, after being fired by the company, should I submit my resume to Miss Taylor's company? Wait, does Miss Taylor have a company? The receptionist lay in bed with a smile on her face, her hands folded over her abdomen, her eyes closed, and her expression very serene. She slept very soundly, but Mr. Duncan tossed and turned restlessly when he saw that proposal scene in the evening. His feelings became somewhat indescribable. The PPT at the front desk completely shattered his last bit of rationality. Has Georgia's goal always been Rose? Thinking back carefully, Jasper was horrified to realize that Georgia indeed only threw tantrums and acted hysterically like a mentally unstable shrew in front of him. The former self who begged for love in vain smiled bitterly. Damn that clueless straight man. But in front of Rose, Georgia was always impeccably made up, dignified, and very conscious of her image, must never lower her standards in front of a rival. And there was one thing Jasper hadn't told anyone. At the engagement scene, those few words from Georgia had always been a thorn in his heart. Now, with all the pieces coming together, Jasper finally understood. Georgia, could it be that she actually likes his fiancé? Thinking of this, Jasper didn't care that it was late at night and immediately sent a message to Rose. "What are you doing? Having dinner? What's up? Where did you eat? And with whom?" "Rose, at Taylor's place, with Miss Taylor." "Just as I thought," Jasper said. "Wait for me there. I'll come pick you up right away. Stay away from Georgia, and don't listen to anything she says." Rose looked at her phone in confusion. I asked, "Did Jasper send that?" I felt quite pleased with myself. I knew it. My actions tonight must have had an effect. Rose had a strange expression. "It's effective. But why do I feel so weird about it?" Jasper seemed to have missed the point. I waved my hand. Don't worry about the details, no matter how the process goes. As long as the result is fine, it's all good, just like how I booked the cheapest package to save money and didn't even change the proposal plan. But it still turned out great, didn't it? Rose's expression relaxed. That's right, he said he'd come pick me up in a bit. That's good. Rose transferred me $800,000 and got me a premium beauty card. So she had no money left on hand, so she shamelessly followed me back to Mucha Meal, and even wanted the old house to deliver lunch to her for a month. Although I don't mind having an extra person at the table, Rose doesn't finish her work at the company until after 8 p.m. As soon as she arrives, the butler asks me to come down and keep her company, which seriously cuts into my leisure time. I frowned and said, "You still need to eat 3 meals a day. How about this? Besides lunch, I'll also have the driver deliver dinner to you at 6 p.m. After you finish eating, go back to your own home and don't come running to my house again." Rose said it's no problem, but someone acted as if facing a great enemy. What's all this about lunch and dinner? If Rose wants to eat, why should your Taylor family have to deliver it to her? Jasper was so anxious that he didn't even change out of his home clothes and ran over in his slippers. I glanced at him. This is between her and me. It has nothing to do with you. Rose also didn't want Jasper to know about the deal between us. I just feel that Miss Taylor's chef has excellent culinary skills, so I asked for meals to be delivered to me every day. Don't overthink it. How could Jasper not overthink? He grabbed Rose's hand and was about to leave. If you like it, I'll have my family's chef make it and send it to you. All right, you must be full already. Hurry and come back with me. Wait. I handed over a 5-tiered wooden lunchbox. Aren't you staying up late tonight to handle official business? There are some small snacks in here to tide you over, along with some buns, dumplings, and cooked porridge. You can heat them up tomorrow to eat. Poor female lead. He was originally someone who earned millions a month, but in order to strengthen his relationship with Jasper, he's now so broke that he wishes he could have instant noodles for breakfast. I looked Rose up and down with a critical eye. This man is just a bit more handsome, a bit taller, and a bit richer. Nothing that special, not as generous as my stepbrother and stepmother. TCH, Jasper was so frightened by my glance that his hair stood on end. Georgia is serious. He looked very upset and quickly pulled Rose away. I walked back yawning. It was already 9:30. And these two lunatics really knew how to make a scene. They must have had a great time that night. The next day, Rose, with a rosy complexion, thanked me. The results are quite good, but going forward, could you come to our company from time to time, or I could go shopping with you during breaks? I was confused. Rose blushed, her hands fidgeting nervously. Jasper seems to have taken the wrong medicine lately, thinking I have feelings for Rose and wanting to keep her away from me. But Rose clearly saw that I didn't mean it that way. If doing this could make Jasper care more about her, she felt it wouldn't be a bad idea to befriend me. My eyes lit up. Are you free tonight? Huh? Rose was puzzled. I should be free after 6 o'clock today. Then let's meet at 6. I know a great spot. I've been so bored at home for the past month and a half that I'm practically growing mold. It's been ages since I last went to a bar, even though Kevin doesn't want me going to bars. Why should I listen to him? Plus, with Rose coming along this time, it should be even less of a problem. The plan was well thought out, but the actual execution didn't go as well as expected. Rose is a bit reserved, and the bar we went to was a very proper and quiet one. We had a few drinks in the booth, and after getting a bit tipsy, the driver took me home. At this hour, the old house usually only had 2 or 3 lights on, but now, it was brightly lit. Unfortunately, I was too drunk to notice anything unusual. Staggering back into the house, I collapsed onto the sofa and called out, "Aunt Wang, get me a bowl of hangover soup. You went out to fool around and only came back now." A voice that was hard to distinguish as either happy or angry spoke calmly. I looked over with drunken, blurry eyes. "Dad," I stumbled over to him. "Dad, how did you get here too? When did you arrive? Wah, I haven't seen you in so long. I've missed you so much." After checking him over to confirm it was my old man, I hugged him and burst into tears. The person I hugged stiffened, and after a moment, they awkwardly patted my back. "I'm back. Stop crying." I was crying so hard I started hiccuping, but I still remembered to tattle, pointing at Kevin, who had been silently watching from behind. Dad, he never lets me go to the bar, always bossing me around. You need to scold him, Mr. Taylor." Well managed. I cried even louder. The next morning, I woke up with a splitting headache. Damn it, Rose is really broke now. Took me to a bar for drinks and even watered down my drink. I rubbed my temples as I went downstairs and said, "Aunt Wang, could you prepare a bowl of hangover soup for me? I have a headache." "Serves you right for the headache. Let's see if you still dare to go to bars with people in the future." The sudden voice startled me. I leaned against the handrail and looked over. A middle-aged man in a suit was standing downstairs. My gaze lingered on his face for a long time before I finally lowered my eyes and adopted a respectful attitude. "Father, Mr. Taylor frowned. Although he was usually addressed this way, he actually felt that yesterday's "Dad" sounded more pleasant to his ears. After finishing breakfast, I sat upright on the sofa. "Mr. Taylor, your brother told me that you've been much more well-behaved lately." I was shocked. Buying and selling ivory is illegal. How could ivory come out of a dog's mouth? Mr. Taylor explained to me seriously. "Our family doesn't engage in such illegal transactions." Me, "Okay, Father, Mr. Taylor frowned and said, "Change the way you address me." I replied, "Okay, what should I call you, Father?" Mr. Taylor said, "Just call me Dad, like you did yesterday." I disagree. This person looks exactly like my father. If I use the same form of address, I'll have an even harder time telling the real from the fake. To maintain the last shred of clarity in this unfamiliar world, this is absolutely non-negotiable, Father. This is inappropriate. Mr. Taylor did not refute after hearing this, but silently took out his wallet. I leaned in for a look. It was completely empty. Mr. Taylor silently closed his wallet and took out his phone. "Call me Dad, and I'll give you money to spend," I said very seriously. "This is a matter of principle. It can't be solved with money." My phone vibrated, and I glanced at the message. "Your savings card has been credited with $1 million, and the balance is..." It felt as if my soul had been cleansed. I turned off my phone, threw principles to the wind, and sweetly said, "Daddy." Mr. Taylor nodded. Sure enough, it wasn't his imagination. This form of address sounded much more comfortable. "Dad, why are you back at this time?" Mr. Taylor said, "Your Uncle Bob mentioned that you've been through a lot lately, so I came back to check on you. Is there something wrong?" The stepmother sitting on the sofa trembled slightly, afraid that Georgia would drag her into the matter. I thought hard for a long time. "No, I haven't been running around lately. I made a friend, and both my brother and Aunt Lucy treat me very well. It's not hard at all, especially during this period. I haven't stepped out of the house at all. And those people have been stuffing money into my hands. My little savings are now overflowing with wealth." Hearing me say this, my stepmother quietly breathed a sigh of relief and felt a strange sense of gratitude toward me. "Georgia, it seems, is actually not a bad person." Seeing that I was fine, Mr. Taylor said, "I'm often away and can't keep an eye on you all the time. If you run into any trouble, you should ask your Aunt Lucy for advice. Your older brother is busy with company matters, and your Aunt Lucy has been resting at home, so she has more time to spend with you." I didn't like hearing that. "Dad, I'm all grown up now. I don't need my parents watching over me anymore. Besides, Aunt Lucy has her own things to do." "All right, don't worry about it. You've been on a long flight, so go get some rest." I pushed Mr. Taylor upstairs and saw my stepmother waiting for me at the top of the stairs with an awkward expression. "Your father's words make sense. If you run into any difficulties, you can come to me for advice." What could possibly happen to me? I was about to refuse my stepmother when I suddenly remembered. Recently, there's one thing that has been troubling me. What? Lately, the relationship between Jasper and Rose has been strange. They were perfectly fine in their own world, but now they seem to enjoy it more only when I get involved and stir things up. I don't want to deal with all that trouble, but I really have no choice since I owe them a favor. I vaguely mentioned the situation, blurring the names of the two main characters, and finally asked, "C doesn't want to keep going back and forth, but also doesn't want to give up this offer. So, is there any way to solve this once and for all?" My stepmother truly lived up to her reputation as someone who could remarry into the Taylor family after a divorce while bringing her child along, even though I spoke vaguely. She immediately grasped the key point. "Why are you so conflicted?" "Just from what you've said, It's clear that A's thinking has already gone off track. He thinks C is here to compete with him for B. As long as C adds fuel to the fire with B, this matter will be pretty much settled. Wait, why does this situation feel so familiar? My stepmother widened her eyes in disbelief. Goodness, it hadn't even been 2 months since the engagement party ended. And things had already progressed this far between the three of them. I frowned. Is that what A thinks? No wonder whenever I see Jasper lately, I always feel like he's guarding against me as if I were a thief. But if that's really the case, things might actually be much simpler. My eyes sparkled as I looked at my stepmother, putting aside past grievances. This person is truly a talent. I've got a premium VIP membership at Changle Aesthetic Clinic. Want to go together today? My stepmother's eyes lit up. Really? But your dad doesn't like me getting those procedures done. How could a straight guy who only thinks about money possibly understand a woman's perspective? I declared confidently. Wait here, I'll go talk to Dad right now. Couples should understand each other. After all, my stepmother looks at me as if I were a deity reborn. She wiped her tears. I used to think you were just a mischievous child. But I'm so ashamed now. You're clearly the most considerate one in this family. I've decided, if I end up divorcing your dad later, I'll go with you. I awkwardly replied, well, that's really not necessary. You threw away both God of Wealth statues and came to find me, someone with no social security, no stable income, and no pension. Oh my God, has her brain been scattered by emotions? While my stepmother was getting her anti-aging treatment, I tiptoed out my phone and sent Mr. Taylor a long message. I condemned his behavior over the years, accusing him of only caring about making money and completely neglecting his family. The stepmother married into the family alone with her child, not only having to raise 2 children but also worrying about the household, enduring much in the face of a husband who was often absent from home. Damn, the writing is so good. I almost made myself cry while making it up. Mr. Taylor also has a very distinctive way of replying to messages. Calm yet carrying the authority of someone in a high position. Got it. At that time, I didn't know what he had figured out. When I woke up the next day, half of the old house was empty. With my messy hair, I ran downstairs and asked the old butler, Uncle Bob, was the house robbed last night? Call the police, quick. The old butler had been busy all night and was now utterly exhausted. There was no burglary. The master suddenly said yesterday afternoon that he wanted to take Madam Lynn on this business trip and insisted on making her feel as comfortable as at home. So many items from the mansion had to be packed. The servants worked through the night to get everything packed. No, they're almost 100 years old combined, and they're still pulling off this international couples trip routine. What about me? Why didn't you take me along? He only cares about his wife. Doesn't he care about me at all? By the way, miss, before leaving this morning, Madam asked me to give this to you. A black card was handed over. Madam said, you can spend it however you like. Trembling, I took this legendary black card that I had only ever read about in novels. Women truly understand women best. After getting the card, I went straight to Rose Company and slammed it on the table. Come, travel with me. Rose had no desire to leave the job she was passionate about. You know I can't be away for too long, and besides, if I suddenly leave, Jasper definitely won't be happy. Such an independent, self-reliant, career-driven female lead who loves striving. How did she end up tying half her mind to Jasper? Me? This trip could secure your marriage for the rest of your life. Are you sure you don't want to consider it? Rose slowly put down the document in her hand. Can it really be a permanent solution? Jasper set down the document in his hand. He had recently developed a new habit. During his free time, he scrolls through George's social media feed. He couldn't quite explain the psychology behind it, but in any case, he would occasionally check George's updates. Ever since he found out about George's long-hidden intentions, he had always felt that this person was a ticking time bomb, ready to deliver a thrilling and intense surprise at any moment. He skillfully opened the social media feed and saw a picture of a plane ticket. Along with a brief caption, Yahoo, going abroad for a trip. Jasper felt relieved. With that troublemaker out of the country, his fiancée would be safe for a while. Jasper called Rose, hoping to arrange a small get-together after work. The phone call can't get through. It's okay, maybe the other person is in a meeting. Jasper handled some more official business, and when he checked the time, an hour had passed. He called Rose again, but still couldn't get through. Jasper instinctively felt that something was wrong. He opened WeChat again and checked Georgia's moments. The picture of the plane ticket showed 2 tickets. He then opened Rose's WeChat and saw that Rose, who never posted on Moments, had also posted one, same image, different captions. My friend insisted on dragging me along for a world tour. Helpless cat, JPG. Jasper was furious. This Georgia still refuses to give up. What global travel? It's clearly a scheme to take Rose out during this time to win her over and then have her break off the engagement with me. No way. How dare they try to snatch someone right under my nose? Jasper suddenly stood up and called his assistant over. Postpone all my arrangements and clear my schedule for 3 months. I'm taking marriage leave. The assistant was caught off guard. So suddenly, I mean, when is your wedding date? I need to arrange things accordingly. We'll talk about the wedding date after I confirm it, Jasper said, hurrying toward the elevator shaft. Come with me first to help pack my things. I need to go abroad for a while. The assistant was shocked. Go out now? Yes, right now. The assistant had a look on his face that said, are you crazy? But thinking about his salary, he swallowed the complaint that was about to escape his lips. Money is hard to earn, and shit is hard to eat. Forget it, anyway, if this guy's company collapses. His parents will still be there to clean up the mess for him. As long as it doesn't affect my salary, the assistant can treat him like a god for all I care. All right, Mr. Duncan, I'll go and make the arrangements right away. After Rose and I arrived at the location, as soon as I turned on my phone, unread messages started pouring in one after another. I skimmed through them briefly. They were all one-sided rants from Jasper, with a few casual reproaches from Kevin sprinkled in between. Ever since my last outburst, Kevin has basically been keeping his distance from me. Wherever I am, he automatically stays away from within a 50-mile radius. This time, he actually managed to say a few words to me because of Jasper. It seems Jasper has been acting out quite a bit around him too. Just thinking about Kevin being tormented by an irrational Jasper puts me in a great mood. My parents are traveling far away, and my stepbrother doesn't care. I have a large balance in my hand. And beside me is a travel companion who works tirelessly and obediently, perfectly serving as a tool. I'm in a great mood. Young men in foreign lands, here I come. Stop looking at your phone, I excitedly called out to Rose, who was still unpacking her luggage. Let's go, it's vacation time. Just as I was squeezing a tall, handsome man with blonde hair, blue eyes, and a high-nose bridge next to Rose, a thunderous roar erupted beside my ear. Georgia, I gave Rose a knowing smile. Turning to look at Jasper, who had rushed over covered in dust but was impeccably groomed from head to toe. Well, look who's here. I'm telling you, Rose is mine. Don't even think about it. I blinked and smiled, saying, whether Rose is mine or not, I don't know, but she isn't necessarily yours either. First and foremost, she is her own person. Secondly, she can be whoever's fiancé she wants to be. I think this foreign gentleman here is quite nice. Jasper immediately bristled. He grabbed Rose and headed out. Just as I was about to stop them, I saw Rose smile at me. I felt relieved. After my recent brainwashing, Rose had gained quite a bit of insight, not exactly becoming a love guru, but close. At least I won't be hung up on one crooked tree anymore. Looking at how brainless Jasper is, I wonder how badly he'll get played. In high spirits, I swirled my wine glass and snapped several photos while holding a handsome guy. I bit the rim of my glass while editing a WeChat post, setting it to be visible only to Kevin. TSK, I wonder when the fish I'm trying to catch will bite. Just as I was about to leave, I looked up and a figure by the window caught my attention. Why does it look so familiar? That person raised their head, and a strikingly handsome yet aloof face instantly came into view. It's Kevin. I gave him a triumphant smile, turned around, and ran. The fish I was angling for walked right into the net himself. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.